Dave, can you tell us who your goalie is tonight and what your plans are for the back-to-back?
Yeah, Shesty's in net tonight. See how that goes. Nothing definite for tomorrow. So Shesty will play tonight.
Next question comes from Mark Roseman. Mark, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Yesterday, with the team getting the shots, was just another example of the uniqueness of this season. The last two seasons, really, you have 7 players who broke in under these unique circumstances. I was just wondering what you feel the both negative and positive impact of all the things they've had to deal with. No fans, the
Right.
4-point games, game in and game out, limited practices and such. What do you think the long-term negative and positives will be for those players?
Yeah, that's a hard question to answer, Mark, because it's just there's so much unpredictability to this. This is such unique circumstances that nobody's ever been through. Obviously, these guys are playing in front of a limited amount of fans now and starting their careers with no fans, which is truly unique. And you actually feel bad for some of these guys that they miss out on, playing in the National Hockey League in front of full crowds. And the limited practice time certainly doesn't help them. We were actually talking about that this morning as a staff. You watch the hockey throughout the league, and it seems to be getting a little sloppier just because teams haven't had a chance to practice as much as they normally would. So there are some there aren't a lot of positives to breaking into the league under these circumstances.
Next question comes from Larry Brooks. Larry, go ahead.
Two questions. A is how do you go in tonight, and B, are you looking for a game? Is it important for you to get Alex into a game, or is that not a priority at this point?
It's one of the priorities. Yeah, we'd like to do that. And as far as Howden getting in, we're not sure in the lineup just yet, so we'll know that tonight.
Next question comes from Dan Rosen. Dan, go ahead.
Hey Dave, I was just curious, the trade deadline's coming up. I'm wondering, is it a topic of conversation within your room, within the coaches? I don't know how active or not active, and I don't expect you to tell me anything regarding to that. You guys would be. But just how much is the trade deadline a topic of conversation now within your group, especially in this type of season where you guys are sitting in the playoff race?
Yeah, I mean, we've been through this. Obviously, this is the third year in a row that I've been through it, our staff has been through it, and these guys have been through it the last 4 years. But I think we're in a little bit different position this year, is my guess. You just never know. Obviously, Jeff and I talk quite a bit, but there are things that can happen unexpectedly. You just never know what can happen this time of year. And I'm sure the players start talking about it a lot more over the next 5-6 days. Obviously, the Islanders make that big trade, so people start talking more about the trade deadline once one domino falls. And it's a topic of conversation this morning because of the trade that the Islanders and the Devils made. So I think people are starting to talk about the trade deadline a little bit more throughout the league.
Next question comes from Colin Stevenson. Colin, go ahead.
Dave, you had said, I think it was last week, that you'll give Igor all the work that he can handle, and you won't put him in a position where you don't think he can handle it, and you guys will be looking for signs that he's holding up well and all that. So I was just curious as to what you're seeing from him. I mean, I presume you're not seeing any signs that suggest that he needs a break.
Right.
So what are you from him, and what do you need to see from him?
I just need to continue to see what we've been watching. I mean, he's played great hockey for us here during this stretch, and to me, there've been no signs of slowing down, and he certainly has embraced the workload that he's earned.
Next question comes from Anthony Fucilli. Fuch, go ahead. Fuch, you there?
Got me now, Coach? Sorry.
Yeah, I got you now, yeah.
What's the mindset after an offensive explosion like that against the same team now, going into this game? What's your mindset you want the players to have?
I want them to have the mindset that we have from an offensive perspective. I want them to continue to feel good, and when there are times to make plays, make the plays we made, but also understand that, forcing offense against teams like this is a recipe for disaster. And, when we got into trouble against them the other night, it was because we forced offense. And, I think our guys realize that, they know that, and we're going to have to be a little bit more responsible with the puck, so we don't give up as many shots and as many scoring chances as we did.
Next question comes from Dan Rosen. Dan, go ahead.
Yeah, Dave, just quickly, you said, how did Mike be? You have some questions there for the lineup. Is that an injury situation with somebody who's in, or are you just looking to get him in a game since it's been a while?
Well, we want him back in. He's a valuable penalty killer for us, and but there's questions in our lineup tonight, so that's why we haven't announced it. We haven't even announced it to our players yet. We're still trying to figure out what our lineup's going to look like.
And final question goes to Mark Roseman. Mark, go ahead.
You mentioned about being defensively responsible and not taking some of those chances they did in that game, but in the same respect, we've also talked this whole season about their swagger. And it seems at times when they start making those passes and they score on those passes, they start getting that swagger. So where's that balance? Where does that balance lie?
Yeah, there's definitely a balancing act, and you don't want to take anybody's creativity away or their skill set away, but there's also a way to play, and the score should certainly also play a role in what you're trying to do with the puck. So it's just that's the balancing act, right? I mean, this is a game that is unlike any other, where there's always question and control during the course of a shift. You're on the ice for 45 seconds, and for 20, 30 seconds, there's a puck battle, and you're not sure if your team's going to come up with it. So those are the areas that we've got to continue to understand where to be on the right side of the puck and how to approach it, especially when you got a 2 or 3 goal lead.